Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Wednesday, July 7th. Today, it's going to be all about XDC and the new financial system. This is going to be a longer video than normal, so if you guys really want to know what's going on, how the new financial system is going to be built, and what it's going to be built on, this is the video for you. Be a lot of articles, a lot of data, a lot of information to take in. Definitely want to stay all the way to the end. You're probably going to end up watching it a couple times. So let's dive right into it. First off, XDC chilling at 9.6 cents. Very, very important to note that so far, since XDC has been released, the gains from the all-time low on June 20th of 2019, 63,336%. Absolutely crazy, absolutely epic. Why would you ever want to be invested in a shitcoin like Dogecoin when you get even better gains and yet nobody is talking about this coin? Can't buy it on any US exchanges that I know of right now. You have to get it on KuCoin, and I believe Bitrue is the other one. So let's get right into it. I did want to mention also that we did mention XDC back in March 18th in our Encrypted Capital newsletter, which you guys should definitely sign up and subscribe to. We got a free version and a paid version. And this was, like I said, back in March, and we were talking about XDC as a sleeper coin. We talked about this project, how you guys should definitely look into it because of the people that were involved in this currency. And sure enough, there has been a lot of hype going on in the last couple weeks, especially from a gentleman named Quincy Jones, who we're also going to play some clips from to help you guys better understand exactly how all of this stuff ties together. So as mentioned, March 13th, actually March 18th in the newsletter when we dropped this was back over here. So had you listened to us, you would have been up 232% on your money at the current price right now. We're going to get into price predictions at the end of this video. So let's get into it. First off, we need to start with R3. R3 is the company that built the Corda blockchain. R3 is an enterprise software company founded in 2015 and headquartered in New York. Its blockchain platform, Corda, allows businesses to manage secure transactions directly between parties. It's important to note now, R3 began as a consortium of 9 major banks. Huge, 9 major banks. The consortium grew as more financial institutions sought to explore how blockchain could address inefficiencies in the aging network of bank payments and settlements. Its shareholders include Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Epic, HSBC, Barclays, ING, UBS, Credit Suisse, RBS, Royal Bank of Canada, and Wells Fargo. Also note, in 2017, R3 and Ripple Labs sued each other over cryptocurrency options worth more than $1 billion, and the companies have reached a settlement in September of 2018. We're going to get into that later on in the video. Next up, R3 Corda now has a bridge to public blockchains with arrival of Ethereum-based XDC. So let's not forget, former RBS bankers from blockchain startup Lab 577 built the bridge. All right. So it says the group of RBS bankers, now known as Lab 577, is bridging the way for Exchange Infinite Zinfin, a blockchain focused on the trade finance space. Its native token, the Ethereum-compatible XDC, will be used as a settlement coin inside Corda. It's important to note that Corda is a blockchain, but it does not have a native token. It's running on XDC. It says the first currency across is XDC, but this lays the groundwork to connect Corda to ERC20s and other cryptocurrency networks, said Lab 577 director Richard Cook. What you should see here is the age-old challenge of interoperability being solved. Now, let's go ahead here. You guys want to watch this video right from the Zinfin website. It's going to basically break down how it works and what it's tackling. The main thing it's going for is having a public blockchain and a private blockchain on the same network, which is Corda. So I'm going to play this video so you guys can watch. It's only 2 minutes long, so they will break it down with some visuals here for you guys, and you can check it out. Here we go.
What is Zinfin? XinFin stands for Exchange Infinite. It is the next generation of the global computer network, connecting communities and enterprises around the globe using blockchain technology. The network is powered by its native fuel, called XinFin Digital Contracts, or XDCs. XinFin is a first-of-its-kind hybrid blockchain network. It combines the power and transparency of public blockchains with the security and speed of private networks. A permissioned consensus mechanism replaces the wasteful, energy-intensive mining, making XDC essentially mining-free. So how does hybrid work? The network has a public state that is shared by all members. Additionally, enterprises can host private subnetworks. So with Enterprise A and B, each will have the public state plus their own unique private state. The public state can be used to share basic data securely and transparently across the XDC network. The private state can be used to protect sensitive or financial data from the outside world. The XDC protocol can work as a messaging and confirmation layer for domestic or cross-border approved payments. Or the XDC token can be used as a payment and settlement layer, supported by approved financial institutions. With secure and audited smart contracts and IoT integration, the XDC protocol facilitates real-world contracts and transactions. Come, join the XDC community.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, you guys can see that basically approved institutions, i.e. the banks, will be conducting business on the Corda blockchain, settling on the public blockchain, but keeping private information private on the private part of the blockchain. So now, R3 Corda network set to go DeFi with XDC digital currency. Regulators have set the requirements for what a digital currency needs to be, and that's exactly where XDC fits in, said Crook. It meets the requirements of most jurisdictions as a digital currency and is therefore a step ahead. We're a next generation Bitcoin or XRP. Very important. XRP does tie into all this. So XDC DeFi. In addition, Crook said the XDC code will pave the way for things like CBDCs to run on Corda, which is a central bank digital currency, especially since federal regulators in the US recently announced that national banks can hold reserves for stablecoin issuers and also allow for what he called a cleaned up expansion of DeFi. Crook goes on to say, anything in finance needs to solve the know your customer identity problem out of the box, as well as provide privacy between the parties that are transacting, said Crook. With many DeFi projects to date, if the technology doesn't solve that, they seemingly ignore those requirements and wait for regulators to give chase. So basically, all this means is that XDC is pre-approved and ready to go. It has no red tape that's holding its back. It's already working with the regulators. Very, very important. So I want to put this quote out here from the R3 PDF. R3 and Intel working to bring blockchain value to financial services. It says, blockchain's ability to disrupt value chains in finance and other industries will be one of the key emerging IT industry trends on 2018. So like 3 years ago. And Corda is now one of 3 blockchain platforms overshadowing all others. So here, and this is why, because Corda Enterprise uniquely solves 2 challenges prominent across all enterprises who want to leverage blockchain technology: privacy and interoperability. So there's 4 main things that Corda does very, very well. That's data privacy, identity, because you basically have to be granted access to even operate on the ledger, scalability, forget about Bitcoin, forget about proof of stake. They've already tried doing this with Bank of Canada back in 2016 using Ethereum, and it did not work. Additionally, this increases issues around immutability since chains can be forked if a large enough group of the validating nodes are able to do so. Exactly. So what we said with Ethereum has already been forked. Ethereum Classic is the OG Ethereum. It was forked because of a hack that they can't use that type of technology on the Corda blockchain, which is why they're using XDC. It says Corda's consensus model guarantees that assets have deterministic settlement finality. This is achieved with Corda because the mechanics of the consensus protocol are based on two things: validation and uniqueness. So forget about proof of work, forget about proof of stake. Consensus is the way to go. And XRP operates on consensus, and so does XDC. Very, very important. Also, we got 80% of Italian banks use R3's Corda blockchain to exchange data. It says the use of blockchain for exchange of data for interbank reconciliation has reduced the average time from 30 to 50 days previously to now under a day. Massive. The Italian Banking Association is also exploring other potential use cases of blockchain. You know how massive this is? July 27, 2020, this was published. Absolutely crazy. That's massive for bank settlements. Also, found this article. Is Zinfin better than Ethereum and Ripple? It says the biggest source of value for Ethereum is the development of smart contracts. However, there is one major drawback to the Ethereum blockchain, and that is the fact that it is a public blockchain. While this sounds like a great thing for transparency and decentralized environment, very few companies will be willing to make smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. Exactly. Ethereum is strictly public. You need to have that private aspect to it in order for businesses that are participating in smart contracts to be able to keep some of the information about their parties private. It says Zinfin is a hybrid blockchain, which means the transactions are private but verified on a public blockchain that cannot be changed. Exactly what I just said. Through decentralized networks, institutional players can make smart contracts without any concern that commercially sensitive information can be compromised. Absolutely huge. So now this is where I want to bring back Quincy Jones. He did this video with Reborn 13, so go check out his channel. He has a lot of good content. I'm going to pick up right in the middle of the interview here because he really goes into exactly how XRP and XDC differ and how they're both going to be used in conjunction with each other on the Corda platform. So let's take a listen. Here we go.
Actually send you some documents after this interview about that, because I have a ton of documents talking about the correlation between XDC, the Corda blockchain, XRP as a settlement token, and what that means for, can you hear me? And what that means for digital payments in the business sense, in the financial sense, and when it comes to that ISO compliance. And there's a huge coupling with all of that, and it's quite interesting. So first thing I want to say is there's XDC, the token, but the biggest thing that we're really talking about is the Corda blockchain. Yeah. And the Corda blockchain has XDC as its native token and uses primarily the XDC technology to institute smart contracts. The blockchain itself just allows you to get the consensus among a different set of notaries and oracles. And a notary is essentially a server that's basically stamped saying that I'm allowing this to be published to the ledger, and an oracle is another server basically pulling data from outside the internet into the blockchain network in order to be stamped by the oracle to be published to the ledger. But what ends up happening is, and the interesting thing with Corda is you're able to have, and what Corda ends up being is it's a hybrid blockchain. So you have a public sector of it and a private sector of it. So you're able to maintain private data on your private ledgers while at the same time being able to use the public ledgers to get the broader aspect of the decentralized ledger technology. So what this ends up end up doing on top of the notaries there are the companies can have a certain level of privacy when it comes to maintaining their consumer data, compliance data, any sort of amount of data that they need to maintain private, but also get the performance of the public ledger by being able to have that public aspect, being able to sequence transactions between parties on the network.
So with regards to XDC and XRP, does XDC have a different role to what XRP is going to play? Because obviously you mentioned XRP being a settlement mechanism, which is essentially where the liquidity is going to flow. Now, a lot of people I see within the XRP community, XDC community, there's, I don't want to say a rivalry because I hate the kind of rivalry between coins because they're all helping the entire ecosystem grow. But could you differentiate for me the different use cases of each and potentially how they will fit together?
Yeah, they are not rivals, guys. Dude, this is so funny. And when I explain it, and when all your viewers hear it, and when all the people on Twitter hear it, and everybody clips this here, they'll go, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Of course they wouldn't be competing against each other. Holy cow. I never thought of that. And this will also give you a perspective on liquidity tokens and settlement tokens and smart contracts, because people seem to think that they're competing with each other. They're not even playing the same sport. Like, so and XRP and XDC are a perfect example of that. So XDC. XDC operating on the Corda blockchain, and when I say Corda, I mean XDC. And when I say XDC, it's just because it's operating on that blockchain. But the main thing is the Corda blockchain is going to be a blockchain of businesses that are operating smart contracts for their users and other businesses. So what does that mean? That means when they're using anything on the Corda blockchain, whether it's XDC or an issued asset under XDC, they have to do it on the Corda blockchain. So when you're executing a smart contract on Corda and you're using a business and you may have compliance needs with privacy and you may be operating with other businesses in your industry, you can do that in XDC, pay the smart contracts needed to execute the business needs in XDC on the Corda blockchain. And when it comes to business transactions, when you're paying another business, you're not really going to be paying that business. You're going to be paying that business's smart contract to execute something.
Yeah.
Now, why is this important? Well, XRP is not used as a token to execute smart contracts. Now, there is a segment in XRP when it comes to hooking that can allow for smart contract execution, but this allows for almost a symbiotic relationship where smart contracts can now interact with XRP without XRP having native smart contracts. But here's what XRP comes into play. So Corda has what's called Corda Settler. And what it ends up being is essentially a receipt system where it checks settlements off chain to basically confirm settlements on chain. So what does that mean? Well, that means if somebody wanted to pay you, so if I was running on Corda and I would primarily have most of my money in XDC, right? And someone wanted to pay me in XRP, I can accept the XRP payment through a smart contract on Corda through the Corda settlement, have the XRP get routed to an XRP address that I may have, be able to maintain be able to execute a smart contract native to the Corda blockchain from a payment on the XRP blockchain while still being able to retain the payment personally and execute settlement for them so they know that the payment went through, I got it, the smart contract was executed, everything's good. And this goes for not just XRP, but this can go for Ethereum, this can go for essentially any other coin that you're willing to accept. But the reason why this is important is Corda and XRP already have a relationship when it comes to the Corda settler, when it comes to XRP being the main settlement token, because what ends up happening is you use XDC on Corda to execute the smart contracts or any other smart contract platform. You'll use Algorand on Algorand, you'll use Ethereum on the Ethereum blockchain to execute those smart contracts, while you'll use the settlement tokens to do the absolute settlement from blockchain to blockchain. So you wouldn't have to worry about settling your value on, if I'm on Ethereum and you're on Algorand, we wouldn't be worried about that because we're doing business needs on our respective platforms. We would just do the settlement token and the liquidity token, the bank liquidity token being XRP and the private liquidity token being XLM.
All right, so Quincy just gave some really good insight in how XRP, XLM will be used as the liquidity tokens on the Corda blockchain, while XDC will be used to settle those transactions. And later on in the video, he talks about the ISO 20022 tokens. And these tokens, there's only a handful of them, and those are the ones that you guys want to be in. So I have pulled it up on Wikipedia so you guys can understand exactly what's going on here. ISO 20022 is an ISO standard for electronic data interchange between financial institutions. It describes a metadata repository containing descriptions of messages and business processes and a maintenance process for the repository content. The standard covers financial information transfer between financial institutions that includes payment transactions, securities trading, and settlement information, credit and debit card transactions, and other financial information. So basically, what they're doing now, this ISO 20022, it's going to be the new financial standard for operating on the Corda blockchain. And guess what? There's only a handful of tokens that are ISO 20022 approved. And this includes Algorand, XDC, Ripple, FIX Protocol Limited, which is a financial information exchange, ISDA, ISITC, Omega, Swift, and Visa. Those are the financial services and tokens that will be utilized on the Corda blockchain. And so, out of all of these, the only cryptocurrencies that are on here are Algorand, XDC, and Ripple. And while he did mention XLM, XLM is not ISO yet. I have a feeling that it most likely will be, but that will be utilized for peer-to-peer settlements on the blockchain. So now we're going to go back to where Quincy mentioned the ISO tokens. Let's have a listen.
I've actually gone through a lot of the bank literature to see like what's up with a lot of this, and they've been talking about a lot of these programs since 2004, but really seriously since like 2013.
Yeah.
And they actually had a plan. The Federal Reserve had a plan to launch this digital currency system in 2020, but then COVID happened, I guess. So we're now on hiatus or whatever. But there definitely is. It's nothing. It's not even to really get like too speculative about it. There is a plan to move to the FedNow payment system, which is basically going to operate the domestic ISO payments between all the domestic remittances within banks. You can look up all this stuff. It's quite interesting. They got it on the Federal Reserve website.
Yeah.
All right. So as mentioned, the ISO tokens. That's where you guys need to be. So what makes ISO so great? I actually pulled this off the Swift website. So you know that they're involved with everything that's going on here. They're not going to be taken over by XRP or Ripple. Chances are they're going to end up all working together. But it says, a formal business model for the financial service industry which can be used as a reference for many different purposes. A method to develop well-structured financial messages as described in the previous section, and a way to unify the many existing standards. So there's only a handful of these, like we said, that are going to be utilized. And then I went on the Swift website and also found what the timeline is looking at. And so as you can see, well, first in 2020, it was building awareness about the change through the various resources Swift makes available and assessing the impacts in collaboration with vendors. Then, throughout 2020 and 2021, implementing the defined solution for adopting the change, testing it internally, and preparing for further testing on the real network. And now, throughout 2021 and 2022, testing on the network with and without selected correspondents, and preparing for going live. We will be going live with the ISO coins on Corda at the end of this year into next year. It's already happening. There's already all of these businesses on the Corda blockchain utilizing this technology. It has been being built silently in the background for at least the last 5 years, if not longer. Also, I want to pull this up. While real-time cross-border payments are poised to break through, it says countries and financial networks adhering to various standards is one of the main factors creating this fragmented landscape. The result is hundreds of closed networks that don't speak to each other, loosely interconnected with unstructured payment messages requiring high manual intervention, all of which contribute to a poor payments experience. This is what we're experiencing now with Swift. It takes mad long to get your transactions to go through. You're talking about days to clear. And now, solving the cross-border payment problem with RippleNet and ISO. To combat this, the International Standards Organization, ISO, established the ISO 20022 as a universal standard to bring legacy payment infrastructures into alignment, but without a fundamental overhaul of these payment infrastructures. ISO standardization can only go so far. It says to really shift the paradigm and create the kind of cross-border payment services people and businesses need, modern technology needs to be applied to the payments problem to complement ISO standard achievements. Ripple's vision is to deliver this technology transformation by establishing a new global payment network called RippleNet, built on DLT, distributed ledger technology, and tightly coupled with ISO standards. Consequently, Ripple has been a leading proponent of ISO 20022 and its mission to enable better global interoperability and improved customer experience for payments. These guys are all connected together. Very, very important you guys realize exactly how this new infrastructure is going to be built. And this article right here was written by Marcus Treacher. If you guys don't know who Marcus Treacher is, he's the Senior VP of Customer Success at Ripple Labs. All right? And guess where he used to be? Swift, previous position. Can you not see how this is all tied together? It's absolutely epic. Also, it's important to note the Federal Reserve Bank VP acknowledges Ripple. This was 6 years ago. And now, on May 20th of this year, the Fed this summer will take another step in developing a digital currency. It says the Federal Reserve will release a research paper this summer that explores a move to a central bank digital currency. The moves of multiple countries, most prominently China, in the central bank digital currency space has intensified talk about how aggressively this Fed should move. Now, the Federal Reserve Payments Pilot incorporates Ripple partner Volante Technologies. It says Volante becomes the latest fintech company to join the Federal Reserve's new instant payments pilot scheme. Federal Reserve, Ripple partner, Volante. You guys can see this narrative playing out right in front of your face. Also, R3, a rival turned into partner via XRP options at discount price. This was back when Ripple and R3 were suing each other, and now they have settled out of court. And now, even though they're quote-unquote competing in the same space, this shows how Ripple turned R3 into a partner. In late 2018, R3 launched its new Corda settler platform using Ripple's XRP. Again, talking about smoke and mirrors. These guys are all working together to form the new financial infrastructure that big business and central banks will run on. Also, Ripple appoints a former U.S. Treasurer to its board amid legal fight with the SEC. Like I said, look at this narrative take place. Blockchain startup Ripple said that Rosie Rios, the 43rd Treasurer of the U.S., would join its board of directors. They also hired Christina Campbell, previously an executive at fintech firms Green Dot and PayNearMe, as its CFO. So, Ripple is now stacking people that used to work for the U.S. Treasury on its board. What else do we have? Here's another article. Central banks and BIS outline requirements for CBDCs. It literally describes XRP to a T. It says, in brief, BIS has collaborated with several central banks to produce a report outlining the key requirements for CBDCs. They need to be exchangeable at parity with cash, easy to use, highly scalable, and near instant, among other things. What does that sound like? XRP. Most current CBDC projects are being built on enterprise blockchain platforms. To fulfill the role of a true CBDC that fits within the current regulatory landscape, they must fit a total of 14 core features, some of which include convertibility, convenient, instant, scalable, and high throughput. Some of these requirements may highlight while several central banks have chosen to develop their own decentralized ledger system or build on enterprise blockchain platforms like R3 Corda and Hyperledger Fabric rather than using public blockchains like Ethereum. And let's not forget, Central Bank World Bank backed AFIN launches CBDC sandbox with R3. That's huge. We also have the NASDAQ using R3's Corda for managing digital assets. It says the relationship with R3 plays an important role in NASDAQ's development of solutions that support the creation of dynamic and trusted digital asset marketplaces. It says the Corda platform is designed specifically for highly regulated environments, and their platform fits well into our technology ecosystems. And guess who else is on board, as Quincy mentioned? MasterCard. MasterCard and R3 partnered to develop new blockchain-powered cross-border payment solution. That's epic. Also, Microsoft pulls tighter on blockchain with R3 Corda Enterprise. Do I have to draw you a picture? All the big boys are in this space. They're working together. Zinfin, QuickBooks. There's another one. Also, let's not forget about Algorand. Quincy had mentioned Algorand in his video. This is one of the ISO compliant coins that will be used for Corda. In case you missed it, Algorand is one of the organizations participating in ISO 20022. Let's not forget, we go to the Algorand Future of Payments PDF, Digital Money Institute. Look at who they're working with. Algorand, Citi, GrabPay, MasterCard, PayPal, Novi from Facebook, and who else is there? None other than Swift. So let's go to Algorand on CoinMarketCap. As we know, Algorand is a smart contract-based blockchain, and it supports a wide range of applications. But most important thing to note here is Silvio Micali. He is the founder of Algorand, and he is a professor of computer science at MIT. Very, very important. It says here, this is also important, he is a recipient of the Turing Award in 2012 for his fundamental contributions to the theory and practice of secure two-party computation, electronic cash, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain protocols. Back in 2012, this makes him one of the foremost creators of crypto in the world. And let's not forget, who else was at MIT? Biden's SEC pick, Gary Gensler. Do you remember this? And what does Gary Gensler's Wikipedia say? He's an American former investment banker and former government official, is now the chairman of the U.S. SEC. And he formerly worked at Goldman Sachs, where he was a partner and co-head of finance. He also served as the CFO for the Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential campaign. Very interesting that the founder of Algorand also was at MIT. You think these guys don't know each other? They're not pals? Of course they are. And if you guys really want to go down the conspiracy trip here, let's talk about the SWIFT logo combined with the United Nations logo equals Zinfin XDC. Put your thinking caps on, folks. Do you think that logos mean something? I think they do, and most likely, in my opinion, this has all been engineered by design. This is all these companies, all these institutions, all these big boys tied together. You guys can easily connect the dots here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure all this out. So let's get into my price prediction for XDC. In order to be used as a settlement token, I can guarantee you it's probably not going to be trading at 9.8 cents. I threw a Fibonacci tool on here, and right now, what I'm looking at for this second wave here, if it hits the full 4.236 fib extension, we're looking at an easy $1.79 for the second wave. And generally speaking, there are 3 waves here, so it could go even higher than that. So right now, if you were looking, you'd be going from 10 cents to basically almost $2. So potentially 20x your money on this token. And who knows, what if this thing pulls in Ethereum and it goes from pennies on the dollar to $1,200? Who knows? But very interesting to think about some of the price targets we can hit for XDC. And then even if we talk about XRP, where do you think that should be? Easily valued at $10 in my opinion. Probably could be an easy $100 if it's going to be used as a liquidity token. Can't be trading at 66 cents. Are you kidding me? All these coins have to rise in value. This also includes XLM, who we already know has been talked about issuing central bank digital currencies. We know that Ukraine has looked into central bank digital currencies being used with XLM's technology. We also know that German banks are being used and operating on the Stellar Lumens platform. So you got your holy grail of 4 currencies here: XRP, XDC, XLM, and Algorand. 3 out of the 4 are ISO compliant. I have a feeling that most likely other ones will be added. XLM, and my partner over here also mentioned that he thinks IOTA has submitted their information to be approved as an ISO token. I don't know if it's official yet. Got to do some more digging and dive in to see if IOTA is going to be utilized with these 4. But in my opinion, in our opinion, these are the tokens that you guys need to be in for real world use case. It's going to be transforming the landscape for how businesses conduct transactions on the blockchain, not to mention central banks. I hope you guys found this informative. It took a lot to put all this information together. Hopefully you enjoy it. Share the video with your friends and family. Get this stuff out there, because if you guys get in early enough, which I still think we are very early on all of these currencies, this could be life-changing wealth for anyone who has the foresight to get involved in these currencies now. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Please like, share the video, drop us a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you all in the next video.